Welcome back to JOJ. It is August 18th. I hope you have caught the previous 2 episodes of our 20 questions for 20 years. We've survived, some barely survived for the first 10 questions. So we've got 5 more questions today with Jake asking.
Yep. All right. I think we're ready, Jake.
All right. So, how did you know when was the right time for kids both times?
How do we know it's the right time for kids both times? So for us, we knew when we got married that, we got married young, obviously. I was 18. Jenny was 19.
Thank you for that.
But we knew, we had some, I think we had a few older friends that got married, or just watching people who got married and boom, like immediately have kids. And we were like, we're young. We've got our whole lives ahead of us, and we didn't want to be like immediately get married, have kids, in the first 6 months or something like that. We knew that wasn't, that just,
I think we always kind of said 3 or 4 years, which I think we were married 2.5 or so.
Yeah. But we knew we wanted a little bit of time, the first time before we had kids.
Yeah, but we knew we wanted them young because, my parents were 24. My mom was 23, 27, maybe 23. My brother was born 27 when I was born. But Ott's dad was also, he was so much older. He was 47 when Ott was born. And so we both kind of, like, Ott was like, I definitely want to have my kids younger than that. Yeah. Our whole goal was to have kids young so we can still be young when they vacate.
Yeah, when they fly the coop. So
that was the ultimate purpose of having kids young. Is we wanted to be young when. Yeah,
exactly. But we also wanted some time. To be married and to enjoy being married without a whole lot of extra responsibility at that point in time. And that's, financially we were broke, so it wasn't like we were like
need to have a kid.
We didn't, and that's. We say that in that way that we wanted to try to get our feet under us a little bit. But at the same point in time, if you ever wait until you're financially ready to have
kids,
you'll always make an excuse as to why you're not. So that's, and I'm glad that we had Abby when we did. I'm glad that we had the twins.
Yeah, and I think the twins, the age difference with them, I was 4 years difference with my brother. Ott was 2.5. So we knew we wanted it to be closer to the 4 years. But the biggest reasoning behind them is I wanted to, of course I didn't know I was going to have twins, but my thought process is that I wanted to have our second baby while Abby was still home. So we knew she was getting closer to being 4. And I was like, I would love to have a year home with Abby, new baby, before she starts kindergarten and chaos starts. And it just happened to be that we had 2. Yeah. So that was literally the reason, nothing special or, it was just I wanted time home with all of them before Abby went to kindergarten.
Yeah, because there was, a lot of stuff that, she got to do as a big sister to get to be home and all that kind of stuff. And help for Jenny as well.
She was my best little helper.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing too significant. Just
that's good things to think about.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was your favorite memory from your guys' wedding day?
Favorite memory from our wedding day.
Why you look at me that way?
Because this is my question, so I wanted you to. I didn't know I was going to have to answer my own question.
He didn't know you were going to have to answer it. So now you're sweating because you don't know what you're going to say. Okay, so my favorite moment. Does it say moment or part? What's it say?
This is memory.
Memory.
So it could be literally anything.
Yeah.
It could be a relative.
Well, so if you all should know me by now, is I hated being in front of people. Like, I did not want the first kiss. I was like, I don't even want to have to do this. Literally made him practice it several times, so he was like, this is what it's going to be, because I was broke out in hives, because I hated being in front of people. So that's not my favorite part right there. Probably getting to leave.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think like if there was something that really stood out at the reception. I feel like our wedding was so just, like we did all the right thing, all the things we were supposed to do.
Right. Yeah.
But we did leave in a boat and came back in a boat. But I don't know. I guess I'd say now my favorite part is that like we really wanted to be married.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I was hoping that you would have a good one because I didn't know I'd have to answer my own question, but I think
I'm trying to think of like
if any one particular
yes.
thing. I mean, and that's looking at the picture that is on the counter of like our first dance.
Yeah.
Like I looking at that and looking at the happiness in our faces.
Yeah.
I would
agree.
Wow, we just got married. You know, I mean that
happiness, or if we were terrified.
No, we were. That picture is good. And then like I think of we already had a little dog.
Oh yeah.
And we wanted to have him in the wedding to be the little ring bearer, but the pastor didn't allow us to do that.
He didn't want Butchie at the wedding.
Yeah, which I understand now. I mean, I can't.
Everybody has their dogs at their weddings now. Yeah, like we were the trendsetters.
They're typically not in a church when they do that either, though. So either way, but like we took some pictures with him in his little tux.
Yeah, he had his little tux. Yes,
and that was that was definitely a fun fun memory from it for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Okay. What is your biggest insecurity?
My balding head. My biggest insecurity. I'd probably actually,
I knew that's what you would say.
My lack of hair.
Your lack of hair.
Yeah. If I feel like probably my only insecurity, I think.
I actually expect that was my question. I expect him to be like, I'm not insecure about anything.
Yeah, no, my lack of hair.
Lack of hair?
Yeah. What's yours? You have to answer your question.
Mine's always my appearance, weight, all the above. I'm a girl. I always say that God didn't choose me to be like one of those girls that can like good foods and wake up and be skinny at the same time. I'm not a favorite.
Did you ask that? Did you write that question knowing you'd have to answer it too?
Yeah, I knew I'd have to answer it, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's whatever. I say it all the time. Not God's chosen one.
Okay.
Beauty is more than outward appearance.
You're not a female. Just move on, Jake.
What is an argument you've had in the past that you would now look back on and think, why do we ever argue about that?
Hunting. Go back to the last episode. No. An argument we've had in the past that we look back on and thought, why did we argue about that? That is a really good question.
I have one, but I don't remember what we argued about. Okay, so do you remember we didn't have kids, we were just married.
Okay.
Your mom let us stay at the cabin in Sevierville.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of people over.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you were mad about, but you were mad and you left and you brought a turtle back.
I do remember that.
I don't know what we argued about, but like he brought a turtle. He literally brought a turtle back.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, I got this turtle. What? You're like, I found him on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Okay, why didn't you
Why'd
leave
you bring me a turtle?
Why did you bring me a turtle?
Which, we'll get back to the question in a minute, but personality-wise, is exactly what Abigail would do in that same situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why that came to mind, but I was trying to think of like any time that I remember as argue. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, because I mean, we've been very blessed that I feel like we've not had like huge arguments. Like, I feel like my feelings get hurt, but like as far as an argument,
I'm trying to think of something that was more recent. Yeah, that.
I mean, I know of a few arguments, but it was very valid why we argued.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one that was. There's something with food. I feel like, and what we were talking with Jack about the eating stuff with a spoon, like that's never really made into an argument. I don't feel like with us.
No.
Because Jenny eats a lot of things with a spoon. That's what we were discussing.
Yeah.
That things
I think
she
it's
eats
very
with a spoon
normal.
that are odd. That is a good question. I wish we had a better answer for.
Mine's a good one.
Yeah. But you just don't remember what the argument was about.
No, I don't remember what the argument was about.
Yeah.
Anything about sleeping, snoring?
Well, those are valid, though. Those are valid arguments.
Oh, I guess that'd be more geared towards that.
Right. I feel like they're very invalid.
No, it's very valid. And it's usually just, please go get your own room.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe have to come back to that one.
Oh, it's not really. I don't know that it'd be so much an argument, but it was kind of a negotiating point at one point in time.
I know what he's going to say.
And so it kind of, and I mean, looking back, it's like, whatever, if it's what you wanted, we should have just done that anyway. If you get me this little SUV, I'll start hauling the trash off. That was the,
That was my negotiation.
yeah.
Never once did I think about how nasty trash was that I was going to be putting inside of the car.
It's trash, people. And it's a SUV. It ain't got a bed on it.
No, I didn't put two and two. But he didn't even stop me from it either. So the first time after we get this car, and I'm like, I'm not putting that in my car. And he's like, that's what. And I'm like, it smells.
It's trash. Yeah, it smells.
Well, you should have been smart enough to not allow that as the negotiation. If you would have thought I was actually going to follow through with it. Okay.
And then it was like, if this was a car you wanted, then whatever. But that was a crappy little car.
It was.
Don't ever
awful.
buy a Saturn.
No, don't ever buy a Saturn.
I don't know if they're still in business. They're junk.
Yeah, junk.
Okay.
Next.
We finally found something to use.
There you go. What's one aspect of your marriage that has made it successful where others have failed?
You can go first. You
Sure.
waiting on me to
I will,
answer?
because I've had time to think on this one. The thing I think with us, it was one of the first, I think the second question on the first episode, but how together we've never blamed one or the other for any. I think one of the easiest places in a marriage that the devil will work to divide you is typically in your finances a lot of times. I mean, that's an easy place for him to drive a wedge and to say, whether it's I deserve to have this new boat, or I deserve to have this car, I deserve, where I'm doing this in the marriage, so I should, financially I'm making more of the income, so I should get to spend more of the income, or whatever it may be. Financially, we have always been fully together. When
good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, good, bad, or indifferent. When Jenny waited tables and I worked construction and she made more than me, from at any point, that was in the very start of it, and she never was like, I'm the one out here making, how much money did you make this week? I made $550.
Yeah.
And I made $350, whatever it was. Like, financially, I look at it that we were always completely open, one account, one, there was it
was never like his, hers, or mine, or anything like that. It's always been just ours.
And I think that because it is very easy for somebody to, on one side or the other to sway that one way. You can't use my answer.
I'm not going to use your answer. I would say that especially, maybe not so early on in our marriage, but especially in culture now, people are so easy to just think like grass is greener on the other side. Like, I feel like one thing about us is that we've always like, it's us, like we choose each other. Like, it's not always easy to love somebody that snores and keeps you up half the night. And it's not always easy to love somebody that's really grumpy because you kept her up half the night snoring. But, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, there's never been a doubt, not a question. Like, we have always chosen each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's never been a, you know, it could be better over here, or, you know, it's just it's never even been a thought. It's just always been, it's us against everybody, basically.
Yeah. And that's, you know, I mean, I think one part in there too, like we've never, right, wrong, or indifferent, we've never had a lot of friends. Like I don't have friends that are girls. You don't have friends that are guys. I mean, you talk to your brother a lot, you know, but like, and I think that man, I could absolutely see where that would be a very difficult place. If Jenny had a friend that was a guy who was somebody that she just trusted, I mean, you could have a lot of, you know, opposite sex friends who you could be very close with just on a friend relationship. But that, I could see that being a very difficult thing in a marriage to try to understand truthfully.
Yeah, and I think trying to find friends that are equally like-minded as well, you know, in marriages and relationships too.
Yeah. And that, you know, I think all those points, because early in our marriage, we weren't the Christians that we are now, and God wasn't, you know,
he wasn't the center.
Wasn't
focus,
the center of it. Like you know, much more like that he is now. But all those other parts were good aspects that we had in our marriage, and then, you know, once we got closer to Christ and our walk together, that I mean, that obviously makes it the strongest that it's ever been. So yeah. Okay. All right. Is that it for this week? Okay.
Oh wow. I feel like we went through those quick.
Yeah, I think those were good. So
okay. All
right.
We got one more week.
All right. We'll see you then.